Shane, you got to smile a little bit.
Huh?
You got to smile a little bit.
Sorry.
It's like, you know, you're happy to do this interview.
That's it.
I'm only joking. Razzleman for FightHype.com with me, trainer of George Groves, Shane McGuigan. Shane, how are we?
Good, thank you, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, you enjoyed that?
Yeah. Entertaining today?
I think it was. Less was more from our side, from especially George's side. George's funny, dry wit, you know, he's watches a lot of Gervais. As you can see, it was quite funny in there. You know, Eubank is still trying to get in George's head. It's crazy. It's like you're 3 days away from the fight, and you're still trying to feel like he probably didn't feel like he got in his head enough at the other press conference, and his dad's been on Twitter and stuff, and George doesn't even read Twitter, and I hardly read it either. So like, you know, like it doesn't faze us really. So they're trying to get us to buy it this close to a fight, but all the hard work's done. He's a machine now. He's ready to go. And he's finally tuned.
In the past, in George's fights, he's known as the guy who tries to turn up the opponent and be the mastermind of the mind games.
Before I start working.
Sorry?
It was before I started.
Yeah, before you started working with him. Yeah. So is that something you've changed, or something he's just over age and experience realised there's different ways of...
He means it. He knows it means sweet fuckball. All right, sorry for my French.
You can say that.
That's right. It means absolutely nothing, and in anything, it comes back on yourself, because you try so much to get into people's heads that it means nothing. You know, like a good seasoned world-class fighter, it's just routine. It doesn't matter who they're boxing, they don't get emotionally involved with it. You know, you see that fight the other day, Chamberlain versus Coley. Those guys were just, it's their first rodeo. They got so emotionally involved in it, and they froze, and they were both probably 50% of what, I mean, they've both been in my gym. They're both quality fighters, and they both performed to maybe 50% of what they were capable of. And that was because they let each other get in each other's heads. This for George is just another routine fight.
A lot of people have been speaking about George being a big super middleweight, Chris Eubank Jr. a relatively small middleweight.
It's not, he's a big middleweight, but yeah.
When you've been in camp, and obviously not going to give away your tactics. Obviously Junior's known that come forward fighter, that real aggression. George has in the past, after 4 or 5 rounds, shown stamina issues at times in his fights. So what is the kind of the...
Of late, has he of late?
Maybe not of recent late, but...
6 fights ago. So we've been waiting to give him 6 fights. Has he showed stamina issues? Stumbling issues. Sorry, stamina issues. No, he hasn't. You know, you look at Martin Murray. Both of them, Martin Murray's a nutritional fighter, as it were, push the pace on late and stuff like that. But both of them were tired at the end of the fight. But Martin Murray was arguably more tired than George. So, and George won every round apart from 1 or 2 or something like that. So, good neck. It's terrible what happened to good neck. But in terms of George's, didn't dip the whole way through that 12 rounds, whereas in the past against Brass didn't have a very good camp, probably picking himself off the Frotch loss. You know, there's a lot of variables can go on to in the past with George, and I feel like he's in a happy place now. He doesn't get involved. He doesn't get involved as much anymore. He just he enjoys it. Don't get me wrong. He enjoys the process. He loves the training of it. Loves the fight nights. Probably doesn't like this as much as your usual fighter in the medias and stuff. But he's definitely performing to like in the gym. And if you look at like in all the circuits and stuff that they've been doing. All the circuits they've been doing, like Taylor would always be like the top guy in the gym. He's always flying, and probably that 1 or 2 gets 1 or 2 reps or whatever than most people. But George has smashed them all in the gym, so that's a big positive.
Obviously, there was a lot of talk today about the sparring and how Chris Eubank Jr. Obviously, sparring is sparring, but Chris Eubank Jr. was saying that I felt your power. If you're relying on your power to knock me out or beat me, it's not going to happen. I heard a quote, not sure how true it is. Martin Murray said George Groves throws harder punches than Gennady Golovkin.
It's a harder right hand, but Golovkin's was more consistent or something like that. But I don't know. listen, it's all about when you can find it on the night. You know, I've seen the sparring. You know, I've got it all on USB. It was done in David's gym, so I sneakily had a bit of a suspicion that this fight was going to happen. So when I was working with Dave, I said, "Give me that sparring footage," and managed to get my hands on it.
Okay.
But then again, you know, you don't. Sparring. There's things that George did fantastically in that sparring. The shots that he got off, and he hit Eubank a few times, and he was visibly hurt. Hit full face guard on 16-ounce gloves, but then there was things that George did that were lazy, and you can see he probably wasn't up for it as much. And Eubank comes to the mindset of you've got to win every second of every round because that's the way his dad has drilled it into him. You know, my dad was exactly the same when I was sparring. He's like, everyone wants to go and chin you, so you've got to make sure you win every second because there's stories that get leaked. So that's the mindset that he's come from. But George is a lot more. He was a lot more on the terms of like being quite lazy in spars and stuff like that. But since he's worked with me, I've kind of made a massive point to drill that out of him. You know, you got to spar hard the whole way through.
You said you mentioned that you've been with George for 6 fights.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. been 7. What do you make of Chris Eubank Jr. as a fighter? Is he the toughest out of the 6 opponents he's faced before?
I don't know. You know, Martin Murray, you know, he lost against Martinez, a bit of a dodgy decision. He got a draw against Felix Stern. He boxed Golovkin, and then obviously went out and boxed Abraham and stuff. I mean, I'd say he's a much harder fight than you know, he's a harder fight than Martin Murray, but I don't think he's as hard of a fight as Chudnov in the sense like I don't think he's going to be able to take the same shots as Chudnov. Hell no. And that's something that George got out of it. I don't think he's as physically imposing. Yeah, he throws more punches, but I don't think he's as physically imposing. It won't be as exhausting of a fight as it was against Chudnov. Like, you know, Eubank Jr.'s boxed his brother, and he was the worst version. It took him 11 rounds to get him out of it, you know. But George did it in 6 and did it pretty convincingly. So I'd say it's below Chudnov, but I'm not worried.
Finally, just finishing off, just give me a prediction. Are we going to see 12 rounds? Are we going to hear the final bell?
I said it in many interviews before, I feel like it's really how Eubank Jr. approaches the fight. If he stands off, he's going to get beaten at range. He's going to try and probably, I don't know, if he tries to fiddle his way through a few rounds and then push the pace later on because he thinks George gasses, then, you know, it could be a points win. George could catch him late, but there's more chance of that being a points victory. Whereas if he comes out guns blazing, trying to get hold of George early and trying to, you know, jump on him early, I feel like he can walk onto a serious shot.
Shane, as always, a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for your time, my man. All the best of luck for the last 2 days before the fight.
Before
Before the weigh-in, so be good, don't do anything
cheers, man.
that you shouldn't be doing.
Nothing. No, we're good, man.
Shane McGuigan for FightHype.com. Thank you very much.